Hello, Key Stage 3, how are you? I'm just going to make a quick video talking you through this week's task. Let me just open up my PowerPoint presentation here. Here we go. So let's read it together to begin with. Your task this week is to use the free Brushes Redux app to create a digital still life painting of your dinner before or after eating on a table in your home. You should pick and arrange objects in a way that tells a story. We'll talk more about that later. Find some way to insert colour into your composition. Getting a bit bored of black and white stuff at the moment. Draw from a photograph if you're looking for a realistic sense of space. We all know now how to drop a photo into brushes, so you can do that. Work from observation for something more organic and naive, which is always good as well. So if anyone wants to just go freehand, amazing. Work from background to foreground and fill the canvas. Very important, and I'll talk to you about how to do that in a little bit. Start with the biggest shapes and finish up looking at the details. Okay, my advice would be to always avoid starting with tiny fiddly little bits, because then sometimes you realize that the whole thing doesn't look right. Think about the whole and then the tiny details afterwards. And then use the best traditional drawing materials you can find if your access to technology is limited. That goes for anybody that can't access Brushes Redux or their iPad breaks or whatever, okay? Of course, if you prefer to or you can't, you can just use normal drawing materials, but let's do digital again this week, please. There's some artists down here: Morandi, Peters, Redpath, and Latinsky. We'll talk about those during the lesson, or your teacher will, but they're good references, and they will do nice paintings of still lifes and meals, so have a look at those. Right, do you want to see what I did? Let's just click through to the next slide. So this is my attempt. This is my attempt at a still life painting of a meal, and as you can see, it's not really a meal in progress or a meal being made. It's a meal abandoned, finished, over. So we'll talk more about that decision in a little while. But how did I start this process? I didn't just have the idea straight away, sit down, do it, finished. It took me a little bit longer of just thinking, really, and processing what I was going to do. You know, sometimes you'll be doing something random, brushing your teeth or washing the dishes, and you'll have an idea. So I think give it the time to do that. Okay. Firstly, I thought, I know, I'll do an alfresco dining scene, you know, because I've been eating outside a little bit when the weather's been nice. And I had this nice colourful plate of food and my nice garden furniture with this sort of shadow in the background, and I thought, why not? This is good. But then when I looked at it closely, I realised it was far too complicated. You've got to be realistic, okay? We're only asking you to spend an hour and a half or so on your work, or 150 minutes or something like that. So if you overstretch yourself, you're going to run out of energy and you're not going to finish it. So you need to be smart about how hard you push yourself. So I thought, this is too much, even for me, okay? And I've been doing a lot of drawing in my life. Then I thought, I know, I just make a sandwich, simple, okay? Keep it small, compact. But as you'll see from this video that I'm going to play on the right, it actually turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. And sometimes you just got to admit defeat, okay? So I'll just quickly talk you through this. Did a very quick pen like a red mark drawing. Started blocking in the basic colours, and I thought, this is all going really well. And in fact, I think it was going really well, and then it went very wrong. So, you know, this happens sometimes, and I had to admit defeat, retreat, and try a different approach in the end. Let's see if I can skip ahead. As you can see, I basically started again, and again, and again. And I think around here, it was starting to look pretty cool. Why didn't I just stop? But I didn't. Unfortunately, I carried on. And it ended up not looking very good. If you want to watch that full video and see what it ended up looking like, that's fine. But let's just skip past it for now. Right, next thing. I got a takeaway. I thought, you know what? We've been doing this quite a lot, actually. So it's fairly representative of my experience and my life at the moment. It's autobiographical. Also, it could just be a fun thing to draw. interesting, you know, different. It's not something that you eat every day, so it's kind of like a refreshing image to look at. So I made a little film to begin with of myself unpacking the takeaway. This wasn't something that I expect everybody to do. This is just something extra and fun that I did, and I thought that it might give me an idea, and it did in the end, really, because I thought this is us unpacking the takeaway and taking it all out and arranging it and preparing to eat it. Then it made me think, what other stages in the process of making and consuming a meal are there? And it led me on to my next idea. So let's skip. I photographed the meal once I'd laid it all out, and I thought, yeah, that looks pretty cool, but it was difficult to get it all in shot. You'll notice that I took my kitchen table, or a table that I have sometimes in my kitchen, and I moved it around, and I took everything off it, and I angled it in such a way that I had a blank wall behind it. You can see that there. So you might need to do the same in your house to get good photographs. But it still wasn't looking right. It was too spread out. There's too much going on. There's too much foreground and background. I wanted everything to be clumped together so that it was nice and easy to draw. I actually decided to do some photographs after I'd eaten, and this was kind of inspired by that little film I made. So there you can see I picked the one on the bottom right, and I cooled it down a little bit using my phone by editing a little bit, because I thought the colours were a bit too warm. But after that, I was happy with it. So I was like, okay, this is the one. I'm going to do a drawing of this now. And this is basically what I did. Now, I think this is a video. Yeah. I skipped the beginning of the video because what I started doing, and I bet many of you have done this, okay, is I started drawing on the same layer of the photograph, which was a big mistake. And I had to redo the whole thing. So I cut all that out basically, and what you're going to see now is just after I've finished this initial line drawing. So make sure you don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure that you start your drawing on a separate layer to your photograph so that later you can get rid of your photograph. Sometimes people have been sending in these pictures with the photograph still kind of underneath their painting, and it can look cool, but most of the time it just looks like you're kind of cheating a little bit, and it just looks a bit wimpy. Come on, we all need to be brave. Okay, so let's get rid of the photographs. At a certain point, you have to spread your wings and go it alone. So don't make the same mistake I did. Do the drawing on a separate layer. All right, let's watch this little video and I'll try and talk through it. So there's the drawing, and almost immediately I start blocking in very basic areas of tone. I'm thinking about what colors are going to pop out. I'm keeping the colors quite muted, and I'm simplifying them a lot. Because for example, that bag in the top left wasn't just dark brown, but I kind of picked an approximate average color and just blocked it in. I thought I'll put that in the background. I'll get rid of all the white, okay? And then I will add stuff on top. Now, can you see this orange in the middle? Okay, what I did there was I went underneath my drawing. I went underneath these blocks of color that I was putting in, and I put in an orange layer. I just got a big orange brush and I just wiped in a big block of orange. And then I went back to my original composition with all the layers, and I had a look at it, and I saw where there were gaps, and I could see in between this bag and this bag, in between these takeaway containers and this plate, there are areas where I haven't painted, and little spots here as well, which was really helpful because I was like, oh, I missed a bit. But actually, although it told me that I'd missed bits, I also quite liked it. So I thought, maybe I could throw a little bit of orange back in there later, maybe even a bit of pink, who knows? So it gave me an idea as well as solving a problem or helping me do my job as an artist. Here you can see I'm looking a bit more closely. I'm putting in some of the details, especially the rim of that plate or bowl. And then I had a moment there, I don't know if you saw that, where I made the picture transparent again so that I could, let me zip back, made the picture transparent again so that I could see what changes I needed to make. So pretty much throughout the whole process, I was looking at the picture and then going back and painting, and then looking at the picture and going back and painting. But at one point, I kind of got tired of constantly having to go back and forth. So I just made the photograph transparent and made sure that I wasn't drawing on it. And that's what I was doing here. After this, I just decided that it was too plain and needed a bit more energy and a few more scratchy marks in it. So I added some in, and I think it worked really well. And that's my finished painting, okay? There's a few different versions of it here. Screen grabs made from different versions, but they've all been cropped and finished off. So that's pretty much what I did. I'm not going to play that video now, but that's another video of me talking through the process that you can watch in your own time if you want to, by going to the Files tab in your area on Teams. But that's the task for this week. Should we have a quick look at Morandi, Peters, Redpath, and Latinsky? I feel like these are going to be annoying links. Yes, they are. Not Giorgio Armani, Giorgio Morandi, please. So Morandi's really famous for working from the same collection of dusty old objects over and over again. And he was almost like a monk meditating on the beauty of these objects. And they have a kind of a still beauty to them. But they're not everyone's cup of tea. Sometimes people find them a little bit boring. Let's have a look at Clara Peters. She is much more from the kind of Dutch still life, hyper-realist, vanitas, memento mori sort of movement. Okay, so if you don't know what any of that means, look it up because it's really fun to learn about it. But so that's a lot more detailed. You might feel up for that. I personally run a mile when I see paintings like that. They scare the hell out of me. Here we are again, and Redpath. I love this lady. I saw some of her paintings in an exhibition in Sheffield once. Beautiful, naive, slightly flattened perspective. Are we looking down on that table or from the side? It's unusual. This is one of my favorite ones, and I think that if everybody takes a leaf out of Anne Redpath's book, we're going to get some really interesting responses this week. This is beautiful, isn't it? Look at those colours. It's the green and the pink again. I'm addicted. And then what was the last one? I forgot. Latinsky. Okay, yeah, Latinsky is really interesting because she's a photographer. Laura Latinsky, still alive. But she does these really carefully arranged, like look at this beautiful picture here. If I can see that full screen. A really carefully arranged still life, very subtle colours. It's very nice, isn't it? So yours might be something like this. There's another one further along that's worth looking at as well. Good, right? Really nice. Okay, I hope that's given you plenty to think about. Enjoy the task. See if you can think of anything different to do with it. You don't have to necessarily do a meal before, during, or after you've eaten it. You might do the ingredients in the pan. You might do, maybe you're on a diet and you're eating something very special, or maybe you have a special dietary requirement. Maybe you're vegetarian or vegan or something like that, and you want to tell us a story about how you eat. Maybe you want to show that you eat as a family. Maybe you want to show that you eat on your own sometimes. You know, there's so many different ways. Maybe you eat in an unusual place or an unusual way with an unusual tool. I don't know, okay? But I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's individual stories coming together. Right, I think I've talked enough. Thank you so much for watching, and I really look forward to seeing your responses. Bye-bye.